You walk into a crowded living room as a football match reaches its most exciting moment. Everyone is shouting, cheering, and reacting to every play. Then one person quietly walks away to make a cup of coffee, completely uninterested. People stare in disbelief. How can you not care, they ask. Most assume that person is boring or simply trying to be different. But psychology suggests something much more interesting. Why does one person become emotionally invested in every match while another feels absolutely nothing? And what if the answer has very little to do with football itself? Psychologists have noticed this pattern for decades, yet few people stop to ask why it happens. Most people say everyone has different interests, but the real explanation goes much deeper. The answer often begins with personality, life experiences, and the way your brain decides what deserves your attention. By the end of this video, you may not only understand why some people don't care about football, you may also discover something surprising about yourself, because the first reason has almost nothing to do with sports. Imagine you're at work the morning after a big football match. Everyone is excited, replaying the best moments and debating the referee's decisions. One person listens politely but has nothing to add. Others assume they just don't fit in. But psychology suggests something different. Humans naturally want to belong. For many people, football is more than a game. It's a shared experience that creates connection and identity. Supporting the same team makes people feel part of something bigger. But not everyone finds belonging the same way. Some people connect through books, music, creative projects, deep conversations, or time with family. Their sense of community comes from different experiences, so they don't feel the same pull toward football. Picture two friends. One spends the weekend watching matches with a crowd. The other spends it painting, hiking, or learning a new skill. Both feel fulfilled. They simply enjoy different things. That's why forcing someone to enjoy football rarely works. They're not rejecting the game. Their mind has already found meaning somewhere else. And that's only the beginning. The next reason explains why some people naturally focus on completely different things. Have you ever noticed that two people can watch the same football match and feel completely different afterward? One remembers every goal and every key moment. The other barely remembers who was playing. Psychology says this happens because the brain naturally protects its attention. Your mind constantly decides what deserves your focus. It gives more attention to things that feel meaningful and quietly ignores the rest. If football has never connected with your interests or experiences, your brain simply doesn't see it as important. Think about someone who loves photography. They can spend hours discussing cameras and lighting, while someone else quickly loses interest. Neither is wrong. Their minds are simply drawn to different things. The same is true with football. While millions look forward to the next match, others become excited by books, music, business, or learning a new skill. Their attention isn't lacking, it's focused elsewhere. This is why people who don't care about football can still be deeply passionate. They simply invest their attention in what matters most to them. But attention is only part of the story. The next reason reveals why some people enjoy creating far more than watching. Imagine two friends with a free Saturday. One is excited for a big football match. The other spends the afternoon writing, painting, practicing music, or building a side project. Both enjoy themselves, but in very different ways. Psychology suggests that some people find more satisfaction in creating than watching. Making something of their own feels more rewarding than cheering from the sidelines. This doesn't mean they dislike football. They simply gain more joy from learning, building, or solving problems. Their excitement comes from progress, not spectating. That's why they may seem uninterested when everyone is discussing the latest match. Their attention is already invested in something that feels more meaningful to them. But this preference often reflects something even deeper. The next reason reveals how personality quietly shapes the things we choose to enjoy. Have you ever wondered why one person eagerly waits for a football final while another barely notices it's happening? The answer often begins with personality, not the sport itself. Some people enjoy high-energy, shared experiences. Others feel more fulfilled by quiet activities that let them think, create, or reflect. They simply recharge in different ways. Picture two coworkers after a busy week. One invites friends over to watch a match. The other spends the evening reading, taking a walk, or working on a hobby. Both are relaxing. They've just chosen different paths. This is why people who don't care about football aren't necessarily antisocial or unusual. They naturally find excitement in different experiences. But personality isn't the whole story. Sometimes the real reason is hidden in a person's past, and that's where things become even more interesting. Sometimes the reason someone doesn't care about football has nothing to do with the game itself. It begins with their past. Imagine two children growing up in different homes. One spends weekends watching matches with family, creating happy memories around the sport. The other grows up enjoying books, music, or creative hobbies instead. As adults, those early experiences continue to shape what feels meaningful. Our brains naturally connect emotions to memories. When football is linked to positive moments, people often enjoy it more. When those memories are missing, the game may simply feel unimportant, no matter how popular it is. That's why two people can watch the same match and experience it differently. One feels nostalgia, the other feels nothing at all. But your past isn't the whole story. The next reason reveals why some people are comfortable choosing a different path, even when everyone else follows the crowd. Have you ever noticed how quickly excitement spreads through a crowd? When everyone around us is cheering, it's easy to join in. Human psychology naturally pushes us toward shared experiences, but some people are less influenced by the crowd. Imagine a group of friends gathering to watch a big football match. One person politely declines and spends the day doing something else. They're not trying to be different. They simply enjoy different things. Psychologists have found that independent thinkers often make choices based on personal interest rather than social expectations. Instead of asking, "What is everyone else doing?" they ask, "What do I genuinely enjoy?" This mindset often extends beyond football. They choose hobbies, habits, and even lifestyles that match their own values. But independence doesn't mean they lack passion. The next reason reveals where that passion is often directed instead. Many people assume that if someone doesn't care about football, they aren't passionate about anything. But psychology suggests the opposite. Their passion is simply focused elsewhere. Imagine two friends planning the weekend. One is excited for a big match. The other can't wait to finish a book, build a project, learn a skill, or explore a new hobby. Both feel the same excitement. They're just inspired by different things. Our interests are shaped by personality, experiences, and personal goals. That's why someone who ignores every football game may spend hours talking about music, technology, art, or business instead. Once you understand this, you stop judging people by what they don't enjoy and begin appreciating what truly motivates them. And there's one final insight that brings everything together. It may completely change the way you see people who don't follow the crowd. After everything we've explored, one thing becomes clear. This was never really about football. Football is simply one example of how people choose to spend their time and attention. Our interests are shaped by personality, experiences, and personal values. Imagine meeting two people. One talks excitedly about the latest match. The other shares a project they've been building or a book they've been reading. Neither is right or wrong. They simply find meaning in different places. That's why judging someone for not caring about football misses the bigger picture. It isn't a lack of passion, it's a different set of priorities. And that leads to the biggest lesson of all. Understanding people begins when we stop asking what they enjoy and start asking why. Maybe you've never cared about football, and that's okay. Psychology shows we're shaped by what gives us meaning, not by what's popular. For some, football brings excitement. For others, it's books, music, art, work, or family. Different passions simply reflect different minds. The next time someone walks away from a football match, don't assume they're missing out. They may have found what truly matters to them. If this video gave you a new perspective, share your thoughts in the comments. And if you'd like to discover more hidden patterns of human behavior, consider subscribing for more videos.